It's mailbag time here at Chat Sports, and I'm going to be answering all of your questions. Mitchell Renz, that is. Now, if you want to get your questions featured on our next NFL mailbag, the easiest way to do it is to subscribe. Now, this has been kind of a crazy week here at Chat Sports because the snow has kept a lot of people out, and I'm actually the only one that can walk to work, so that's why I'm the one filming this show. But we normally go live every single Monday and Wednesday, and at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. But bottom line is this: if you want your questions on our show, you got to subscribe. The first one coming in is coming from That's Lit Gaming. We asked y'all to submit your questions on our community tab, and we picked out some of our favorites. What do you think the Bengals will do in free agency? The Bengals need to be able to figure out what's ultimately going to happen with William Jackson. I think he probably ends up moving on. You need to be able to protect Joe Burrow, so whether that's investing in some of the offensive line, whether it's guard, whether it's a right tackle, that's something to think about, and maybe get him a few more extra options. But the biggest thing they need to do is protect Joe Burrow. Let's go to the next question coming in here from Michael. And Michael, you put in like 30 questions out of the 100 we got, so you had a pretty good chance of getting on the show. Way too early predictions for most passing yards, most rushing yards, and most receiving yards. Okay, the person who's going to have the most passing yards in 2021, shocker, I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes would have led the league this year, but he decided to sit out Week 17. And then Deshaun Watson, he ended up leading the league. But I just got to go with Mahomes. I think he's going to come back. They're going to be motivated, and I'm guessing over 5,000 yards. Let's now go to the running back position. Sorry, I'm going to get chalky. It's hard to not go with King Henry. Back-to-back seasons being the leading rusher in the National Football League. The dude had over 2,000. Some other running backs that I at least thought about putting up here: Nick Chubb of the Browns, Dalvin Cook of the Vikings. Those are probably my other two choices. But I know that Derrick Henry is an absolute men playing what seems like at times against boys. He's going to get another 350 touches, 350 carries, that is, if he's fully healthy. Now, let's go to the wide receiver position. This is probably the one where I had a lot of choices to go. I could have went with Stephon Diggs, who led the league this year. Could have went with a guy like Devontae Adams, who had 18 receiving touchdowns despite playing only 14 games. Travis Kelce, he was the only guy behind Stephon Diggs, but I am deciding to go with DeAndre Hopkins. Why? I'm thinking you give DeAndre a full year in terms of a normal offseason to be able to work with Kyler Murray and really to be able to figure out that offense. I'm going to give it to DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm going to say that their chemistry gets a little bit better this year. But you know what, man? There's so many choices, so what I want you guys to do here, take a guess. That's what Chat Sports is about. It's about talking about sports. Like, I love my family to the end of the world and back. But I'll tell you what, some of the most heated conversations that we have is about sports and what exactly is going to happen the next year. We're also big fans of fantasy football. We got a fantasy football league going on literally 15 years now. It's pretty wild. But what I want you to do, help me out. Let me know who's going to lead the National Football League in passing, rushing, and receiving yards in 2021. Now, today's show would not be possible without two people, and those two people are, one, me, the host. So if you want to give me a follow on IG, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. But if you also want to hit me up with fantasy football, Raiders questions, anything NFL, slide in. My DMs are open. The other person that definitely deserves a lot of credit, and we don't give credit to our producers nearly enough here at Chat Sports, his name's Sam Brown. He's on Twitter at SamBrownCS. He's also just started a Broncos channel. So if there's any Broncos fans out there, hit him up on Twitter. You can see it. It's down below. He's trying to get some more Twitter clout, so go help out my man. But the reason why I'm saying that, hey, go ahead and give him a follow. He's at his home right now. He's producing this video. We got all sorts of snow. We got all sorts of power outages in Dallas, Texas. Without Sam, the show would not have been possible. Let's go to the next question coming in here on this NFL mailbag. Go ahead, Tyler, get a pick. Who should be the Falcons' top target in free agency? It's a good question. Obviously, the biggest problem here with Atlanta is two things. First off, they don't have a lot of money to be able to work with. And when you're talking about Matt Ryan, you're talking about Julio Jones, those are players near their end of their careers, and I am a believer that they end up bringing those guys back. But still, where do you go from here? Some of y'all are probably going to say, Mitch, they should invest in a running back since Todd Gurley's washed up and he's not going to be coming back. I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think Atlanta needs to save money, and if they take an RB, it should actually be in the draft. But if I'm running the Atlanta Falcons, this is the route I'm going. I'm going offensive line because no matter what, you need to have an offensive lineman, whether it's for Matt Ryan, or whether it's going to be for the new quarterback you end up taking, you need to be able to protect him. Okay? And the top 2 guards that I think right now on the free agent market, number 1 is Joe Thuney. That's if you're looking for more of the conventional, I'll say, left guard. 5 straight seasons where he's played in every single game. In fact, this dude has never missed a game in his entire playing career, which is absolutely incredible. But I will say Thuney's probably the better pass blocker. If you want somebody that's maybe a bit better in terms of run blocking, maybe you go with a guy like Brandon Scherff. Now, both of these players, you're probably going to have to spend over $14 million a year to be able to go out and get them. Scherff has definitely battled a few more injuries. I believe he's missed 16 games over the last 3 seasons. But if you want to talk about one of the toughest SOBs, I mean, oh, he's probably going to get mad at me that I just poked him. Look at the picture of him here. This is a mean dude, and he is a mean guy on the football field. But you know what? If you want to bring some physicality to that offensive line, Scherff's a great player to end up doing that. So, Falcons fans, let me know in the comments section, who should Atlanta target in 2021 free agency? If you're not a Falcons fan, but you're like, Mitch, what about us? You can answer the question too. It's for everyone. Who should the Falcons target in 2021 free agency? And if anybody out there is a big-time Falcons fan, we actually just launched a brand new Falcons channel. It's still up and coming, so if you want more videos there, you need to go ahead and subscribe. The link is the one that you see below. Get it out of your mouth. It's chatsports.com/FalconsTV. So, Chat Sports, we're always trying to break down the latest news and rumors, but we're also trying to get you guys some awesome deals as well. If anybody wants a new t-shirt, a Nike NFL t-shirt, all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/NFL shirts. There's hundreds, maybe even thousands of brand new t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, like all these different kinds of high-quality Nike apparel gear. And the way that you can get it is at chatsports.com/NFL shirts. Now, the last time I checked, I believe everything at that link was 25% off. Those hoodies are sweet. These t-shirts that you see here are usually $35. They're on sale for $26. So go ahead, take advantage of these deals. I know Valentine's Day was just a few days ago. Maybe your girlfriend forgot about you. I hope it didn't happen. But hey, if you're like, hey babe, you know how I got you all this amazing stuff and you didn't get me anything? Send her this link. Tell her to hook you up. Chatsports.com/NFL shirts. All right, let's go to ISO highlights. What up, ISO? Another guy put in a ton of questions. Blake Martinez to the Bears. What would be, all right, so I think you're basically saying, would Blake Martinez be a perfect package for the Chicago Bears? Like, Chicago probably is going to have to go out and find another linebacker. They definitely should have kept Nick Kwiatkowski instead of letting him go last season. However, Blake Martinez, he's going to remain a New York Giant. I'll be the first to tell you that I didn't think that Martinez was going to have as good of a year as he did in New York, and I was wrong. Before he signed with the Giants, it was like 3 straight years of over 140 tackles and had another very good year. Unfortunately, he's not going to go to Chicago. Let's now go to this question here. Seattle Seahawks fan 12, you're next up on NFL Daily's mailbag. Which team will sign Allen Robinson? Okay, I see you. Almost every team will be going after him. I think teams like the Dolphins and the Jags make the most sense. Out of the top 2 teams that you just mentioned, Dolphins or Jaguars, I actually think the Dolphins make more sense than Jacksonville. I get that Jacksonville is going to go out and have Trevor Lawrence. They have some money to spend. But I don't really know if A-Rob wants to go back to Jacksonville. I mean, remember, that's where he got drafted. Sure, he was playing with Blake Bortles and some other difficult quarterbacks to sit there with. However, I don't really think that's where he goes. Now, the Dolphins could be an option if they're trying to get a number 1 for Tua, but the latest reports are that they're confident that Devontae Parker can be the number 1, and they're looking for a wide receiver 2 and a slot receiver. That ain't Allen Robinson. He's a number 1 guy. So when I think about some potential A-Rob destination, I think of the Washington football team. I think they're going to have a new quarterback this upcoming season. Why not get a number 1 receiver next to Terry McLaurin? That'd be one hell of a duo. The San Francisco 49ers, at least an option there as well. The Green Bay Packers. If you want to talk about a dream scenario for fantasy, Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson, Aaron Rodgers, good luck stopping that. The New York Jets, they're always trying to spend some extra money, especially if they go out and get a new quarterback. And then the last team that was on that list, the Baltimore Ravens. If there was a perfect fit, I actually think it's Baltimore. Why? Lamar Jackson needs a number 1 receiver. No disrespect to Hollywood Brown. And A-Rob can also block. The Ravens are going to run the football. So let me know in the comments section, where do you think Allen Robinson is going to play in 2021? If you disagree with some of the teams that I put there, yell at me. IG, at Mitchell Renz 365, or yell at producer Sam on Twitter for putting it up on screen at Sam Brown CS. Really like this question here from Dirty Birds territory. I like trade questions, so just hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You put some cool trade ideas in, I'm going to put you on some mailbags. Bears get Orlando Brown and the 27th pick in this year's draft, while Baltimore gets A-Rob and pick number 20. Thoughts? I'll tell you what, it's an A-plus in terms of creativity, but before I tell you who I think wins this trade, let's look at it up on the big screen here. Okay, this is what it looks like. So this is Dirty Birds territory trade idea, and it's an A-plus an idea. So the Bears receive Orlando Brown, who has recently come out and said that he wants to be traded from Baltimore because he wants to play left tackle. The Chicago Bears, they need all the offensive line help they can get. And they basically just swap first-round picks. The Bears, on the other hand, it doesn't seem like they want to hang on to Allen Robinson, and it seems like Dirty Bird says, okay, I understand that the Ravens could definitely need a wide receiver like Allen Robinson. So go down to the comments section. Let me know, who do you think wins this trade here if it goes down? If you're like the Chicago Bears win this deal, I want you to type CHI. If you're like, no, Mitch, the Baltimore Ravens win this deal, I want you to type BAL. For me, my vote is going to come across for I think the Baltimore Ravens win this. I'd rather have Allen Robinson than Orlando Brown, and obviously I'd rather have pick 20 instead of pick 27. This next one's coming in from J. Ben Edits. What up? What is the dream offseason moves for the Dallas Cowboys? You're probably not going to like this answer, but the dream move is that you get a long-term deal done with your quarterback, Dak Prescott, that's both favorable for him and for Dallas, because it really doesn't matter anything else that you do. If you can't secure your franchise quarterback, which I would have said last year, I don't know if it's Dak. It's Dak Prescott. I mean, there's no doubt actually in my mind anymore. He's one of the better younger quarterbacks. All he's ever done for this organization is win football games, and he's actually also been a pretty good leader in the city of Dallas. So I'm going to say the number one thing that they should do is get Dak Prescott deal done, because also I'm sick and tired of talking about it. If you want more Cowboys coverage, go subscribe to our Cowboys channel, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Super Nichols, did I get that right? Should the Rams go after J.J. Watt to pair up with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey? I'll tell you what, you want to talk about it, the dominant defensive line would be Donald and J.J. Watt. However, this is just not a team that I think makes a lot of sense for Watt to go to. When I think about they want a playoff caliber team, do the Rams fit that bill? Yes, absolutely. But also it comes down to dollars and cents. He wants to go to a team that can also pay him, and I think it really comes down to a handful of teams, maybe 6 teams when you really think about it. But I actually have already made a video about this, my dude, about the top destinations for J.J. Watt. Spoiler alert, the Los Angeles Rams were not on it. So if you want to go check out that video, it's got over 40,000 subs. It's on the channel. You can go ahead and subscribe to the link below. Just another reason to youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. All right, the last question, I believe, on today's show is MF Gary 509. Appreciate this Seattle Seahawks question. What top free agent offensive lineman, okay, so offensive lineman only, should the Seahawks pursue? I'm going to go with the name that I know has been mentioned before on the show, but I think it makes the most sense here. I'm going to go with Corey Linsley, who played center last season for the Green Bay Packers. I get it, the fact that y'all have Eric Posick, but he's about to be a free agent, and if you could tell me, do I want Linsley or do I want Posick? I'm going to take Corey Linsley every single day of the week. 29 years old. Sure, he missed a few games last year, but when he's on the football field, he's graded out as a top 10 center for 3 straight years according to Pro Football Focus. And if you want to be able to make Russell Wilson happy, I do think it can start at the center position, who can block well in pass coverage. He's also a good run blocker, a good all-around center. That's what you need to do if you're the Seattle Seahawks. If you guys agree with me, hey, let me know if you guys agree. If you guys disagree, that's what this show is all about here. If you want more Seahawks news and rumors, you can see the link below, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. So who should Seattle go out and target in 2021 free agency? I'm curious what you guys have to say. It's a team that doesn't really have a lot of money to spend. However, this has been one of the more aggressive teams probably the last 2 years, whether it's been going out and trading for a Jamal Adams or whether it's been going out and trying to get Russell Wilson as much talent as humanly possible. I'm curious what they do at the running back position with Chris Carson. I personally don't know if he returns. He might. Maybe they go look for another running back. But I am genuinely curious. What should the Seattle Seahawks do in 2021 free agency? And if there's a question that I didn't answer that you guys have on your mind or just randomly popped up, slide in my DMs. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365.